Why your dog doesn't listen to you outside, and how to fix it. Today I have 3 different beginner dogs so I can show you what it looks like and what I would do in each situation. But before I bring a dog out, there's really 3 main reasons why your dog doesn't listen to you outside, and the first one is going to be the environment. If you've only trained indoors with your dog, bringing them to a super busy place in the beginning is going to be very challenging. So you can't just start super busy right away. And another big factor is going to be how motivated is your dog for the reward that you have. For me, I don't want to use high value treats indoors because if they have it indoors and they're used to it already, you're not going to have as much power outside. So I try to save the high value stuff for outdoors only. Also, if your dog is used to getting free food and free treats all the time, they're probably not going to really want to work for it when they're in a busier environment. So you have to slowly build that up as well. And the third thing that's going to matter is the history that your dog has with getting feedback from their environment. So say your dog goes on walks and they greet every single person and every dog, they're going to seek that attention when they go out. They're going to be very distracted by people and dogs, but we can still work through that. And then dogs could also get negative feedback from the world. Say they're scared of people and dogs and maybe they got attacked or they have a traumatizing experience with people, then they're also going to be more distracted when they go outside because they're going to be a little more on edge when they're outside. So let me bring out the first dog and you'll see what I mean. All right, so with this first dog, I have Poppy. She's dog reactive, she's weird with people, and she has pretty low food drive. So we're here in an empty parking lot. There's probably people walking around, and let's see what she does. All right, so usually when a dog is on edge like this, they're probably not gonna take food and they're probably not really gonna pay attention. So see how she's just like looking around. I'll even show her, I have some high value treats here. All right, so this is a bad situation to put a beginner dog, right? There's too much stuff going on. I have no control over her whatsoever. I'm even showing her the food and she kind of just licked it, but she didn't really engage with it, right? And this is the morning time where they haven't eaten since dinner. So she hasn't eaten in 12 hours. She didn't care about the food because there's too much stuff going on. So with a dog like this, I'm probably not gonna have a successful training session with her. And what I would probably do is actually keep her in a lower distraction environment where I would work on more of her food drive and motivation at home or indoors. Because here, if your dog is looking like this, you're probably not gonna have a very successful training session. All right, so here's Dahlia. You guys have seen me train her indoors on some of our videos. She's also another beginner dog. She's a puppy. Now, she does not have any trauma or bad experiences with people or dogs, so she should be a little different, but she has about the same amount of training experience. And as you can tell, she's a very excited puppy. I do have food on me and I'm pretty sure she'll take it, but let's just see. I have some freeze-dried beef here. Okay, she has decently enough food drive where she can take this treat from me. Good girl. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start building up her attention here. Good girl. I'm gonna give her food anytime she returns to me or checks in with me, and I'm gonna just keep moving around to keep myself more interested than her just sniffing the ground. I'm gonna move her around. She knows a little bit of leash pressure because we did some indoors, so she should know if she hits the end, she should return back to me. Good girl. And I'm just gonna do this over and over. It's gonna be a very short, maybe 1 to 2 minute session. Then I'm gonna put her up and then we're gonna do it again in a different location so she starts gradually building up to new places. I'm not expecting any obedience from her, no sits, no downs, no walking on leash or anything. All I wanna do is just pay for her attention. But as you can tell, she's mildly distracted. She doesn't come to me every single time. She still rather sniff stuff, so let me speed up a little bit. Good girl. Okay, so she's still interested in the ground, but this is the point, right? I want to show you guys that there are different levels of a dog's attention depending on those big 3 factors that I said. So the environment, their history with the environment, and also how motivated they are for their food or toy. All right, so as you can tell, she's not really taking anything anymore. So in this moment, you could tell that she's very distracted. I brought them outside to this empty parking lot just to show you an example. But to me, she looks like she needs more work in a less distracting place. I'd probably work with her more in my backyard and in the front yard and around the neighborhood before bringing her to a level like this. You guys have also seen him on some training videos. So for him, he has actually had a lot of feedback from the environment of being outside. He goes to the dog park every single day, which we don't recommend. So for him, he's going to be very distracted by dogs. But it's gonna look very different for him because he's highly food motivated. Even if there's a dog around, I can still have some control on him because he's so crazy about food. The owner actually said he goes to the dog park 1 to 2 times a day. Right now, there's a dog at a distance, but see how he's pretty focused just because he's very food driven. All right, so I'm gonna move around with him and all I'm doing is paying for him following me and building his attention in this area. I'm not gonna let him pick stuff off the ground. For him, I could probably actually do some obedience with him. So I'm actually gonna have my friend over here. He's gonna walk around with the dog behind me, and you can tell I can still get Barry's focus. So if you have a dog that's motivated enough that can work in whatever environment with the given distractions at that place, then you can kind of get more out of them. And instead of me just paying for him, paying attention and following me around, I'm gonna actually work on a little bit of leash walking with him. So for him, he's actually a right side dog. So let me change my glove. All right, so now I'm back out with Barry. I switched my glove to my right hand because he's a right hand dog, and I flipped my apron. So as you can tell, very crazy about the food. Right now, I'm just using his kibble actually. I'm not even using his treats. So with a dog with a lot of motivation, you can kind of get away with more things. Nice, nice. So now I'm gonna work on a little bit of his leash walking. This is an example of a dog where you can start training them in this environment. He will listen outside because he can handle this with this amount of food. So all I'm doing, walking with him, nice. I'm working on luring him on the right side because that's where he wants to walk. Nice. And there's probably gonna be another dog coming out of that car, so I'm gonna just keep it rolling for now so you can see an example. Even when there's a new distraction entering the area, I will still be able to have some control with him, right? So he saw that dog coming out, and he is interested because he plays with dogs every day. But let's see here, nice. But now I'm gonna bring out another dog that's even more experienced than him, and his focus should be even better. Here I got Linux. I've had him for about 4 weeks now, so his attention should be much better. I probably don't need to give him much feedback for me to have his attention or for him to be responsive. I don't need him to stare at me. I just need him to respond if I say something. So for him, I don't really need to hold this. I can walk wherever, and I'm not really worried about what he's gonna do because for one, he's decently engaged and he's gonna be responsive whether or not he's looking at me or not. He's spatially aware of where I am, and I don't really have to give him any commands for him to quote unquote listen. Right, I'm not worried about him running off. Even if I took this leash off, same thing. And I'm gonna just start training him here. I don't really need to warm him up because as you can tell, he's ready to go. Linux. Good boy. All right. So after you built your dog up for a couple of weeks and you've gradually built it up, this is what it can look like. Down. Good boy. He's still in the training phase though, so I am rewarding for a lot of stuff. Go. All right. So for a dog at this level, his attention is pretty good. Really for me, I want to bring him to super busy places. He's been to Santana Row, he's been to busy shopping malls, he's been to group classes, so he can handle all that. He just needs more repetition of it and more different places. So he starts understanding that in more and more places because you can always improve your dog. And I didn't even tell him to lay there, so that's just his choice. So if he gets up from this, actually, that's totally fine. He's not required to say anything because I did not issue any command for this. Good boy. I'm just gonna pay it because I like what he's doing. Good boy. Right, but I think that's enough with Linux. You probably get the point that he is engaged and he's ready to go. So let's recap on what happened here. So with our first dog, Poppy, you could tell that I really had no power there. She wasn't taking the food. She was very distracted. She was reacting to just random things in the environment. For a dog like that, I would for sure bring them back home or somewhere easier that they can give you some sort of focus. The second dog, Dahlia, where in the beginning she was very distracted, but she was still taking food, I would consider that something that you could still work with. At the second half where she wasn't taking any food and all she was doing was just pulling and sniffing, that's a point where I'm like, okay, I probably can't really do anything there, so I put her up. We're gonna try again afterwards or bring her to an easier place. And for the second two dogs, you could tell they were pretty engaged, and that is something that you could definitely work with. Their level of engagement was good enough where they can take in the information that you're giving them, they could take the food, and they can basically interact with you. With Dahlia, I'm actually gonna bring her out right now again to see how she does this time and see if that little break will help her out. And if she can't, then we know that we need to bring her to an easier environment before bringing her to something like this. Same thing, I'm gonna just try to move away from her, help her with the leash if I need to, and I'm gonna pay her for checking in with me, and that's all I want out of her. Ideally on this one, I want to end it where she actually takes a treat and not just let her fade completely and be completely checked out. So this might be a 30-second session, but we're gonna end it more positively this time. So I'm gonna actually add some more energy this time. Good girl. Oh yeah. I'm gonna reload fast and I'm gonna pay faster. All right, so we could kind of work with this. Let's see. I just don't want to let her go sniff around and find cooler things than this. Good girl. All right, so she's starting to fade again. I'm gonna give her like one last little handful of treats and then we're gonna put her up, because it's not about having a super long session, it's about having a high quality session. All right, so she's just looking around now. Let's see. Oh, I talked too much and now, okay, there we go. Good girl. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna end it there. She had some treats. We're cutting it short and sweet. And the last thing that she remembered is getting a handful of treats.